Alright, welcome to the VOD review and commentary for a 23 Magister's Terrace from a Resto Shaman's point of view. This dungeon, this season is considered one of the easier ones, but I think for PhysComp it's definitely a little bit more challenging compared to, the Guardian Druid and the Bear and whatnot. Either way, we get this timed with, I believe, only a couple of deaths, which all happen towards the end, but you'll see when we get there. This first pull here is very straightforward. The only dangerous part is the sentry, and so you just want to make sure that your party members know exactly what they need to do to live it, because it could one-shot a couple of classes depending on what they are. I think it one-shots our Druid if he doesn't go in bear form, and it probably one-shots our Paladin if he doesn't have any shields. This is also a dungeon that you can play the Litany Trinket in, which is very helpful for the sentry. For you as a Resto Shaman, you're pretty tanky against it, so you should be fine. But if you're not and you're worried, you can always put down your Earth Ellie totem, or your Earth Ellie, or your Ancestral Guidance, or Astral Shift, I mean. Okay, this pull here in the hallway, it is quite difficult. Here, for us, we do CC 2 Enforcers as funnel for our Arms Warrior for the next pull. You can pull them into this one as well. It doesn't make any difference to what you do. So this pull has 2 healers. The healers each will put out 1 dispel. Holy Fire, I believe is what it's called. And the dot is very dangerous. You typically will only have time to dispel 1 and heal the other. Which you can see is what happened there. I went on our warrior, and then I had to heal our druid for a couple of globals before my dispel came back on cooldown. That's the main thing with this pull. Don't be afraid to send your Stormstream totems and your Nature Swiftness to use it. Don't underestimate the dot. I don't send my Healing Tide here because I'm going to use it for the next pull, which is our Pyromancer. You can also notice too, throughout this pull, I am purging these shields that are put out by the healer. And if you like your tank, you can also purge the Enforcers. But if your tank pisses you off, just leave it on there. You can let them deal with it. Alright, so this pull here. So these books, alright, what they do is that as soon as they're in combat, they will start shooting out like volleys. And the volleys will only hit whoever's in combat with them. So what that means is that if you have one person down there along with the tank and nobody else, that person is going to get hammered by the books. So you need to make sure all your party members get down here at the same time. For the first ignition from the pyro, I send my Healing Tide because this is overlapping with the codexes. The Codexes does do a lot of damage, so you do want to send it quite a bit. What the fuck? For the second one, I think here I call for my Druid to use Heart of the Wild, which I think I pair that with my Stormstream. Just hit these books for like 2 seconds longer. You can see here I haven't used my link, and the reason for that is because I used it on the first boss, which we're going to get to after this next pull. Alright, this next pull here is probably the most dangerous one and where a lot of people brick this dungeon. What my tank is about to pull is going to be 1 familiar, 1 healer, and the big sentry. So the familiar and the healer are what's going to come out with their damage right away. The first mechanic that's going to come out is going to be the Holy Fire dot that you have to dispel, and within a couple of seconds the familiar is going to jump and do AoE damage to your group. So you need to make sure you're ready to dispel right away and keep everyone topped off, especially the person who got that dot, because they're going to take a tick of it before it's dispelled. Here you can see I'm not pressing much, I'm just keeping Riptide, and I have my Unleash Life ready to go, and I'm ready to heal the dot. Here it goes on me, dispel instantly, and then I press my my Astral Shift. Once again, we'll play it. Dot on me. Boom, defensive. So very important. It always comes out. Assuming you're doing this pull, it would always come out in that sequence. Okay. And then once you have the sentry in, this is when you want to really make sure everyone's topped off as much as possible. Because in this situation here that just happened, our paladin got the beam, and then our familiar jumped on him. Right? So I'm pretty sure you pressed DP there, otherwise I don't know if he survived it or not. But if that beam goes on a player who can melt it, that's also a very good thing you can do. The familiar is what makes this pull very dangerous. But because our tank pulls this first and delays pulling the sentry, we are able to desync the jump from the familiar and the sentry. This sentry is the exact same as the one in the first pull. Make sure your teammates know what they need to live it. Alright. And then our next pull is the boss. So this is a very typical boss pull. We pull it with the one pyro. And this follows the same thing as we do with our first pyro. We use Healing Tide first. I hold off on my Healing Tide a little bit because I want it to last a bit into these worms as well. When these worms blow up, it does do a lot of damage. Okay. So the explosion from the boss does less damage to your group than the sentry's explosion, the mini bosses. So this boss, you don't have to follow that same rule of what do I need to survive the one shot, because nobody will get one shot from this ability. Typically the pyro will do 2 ignitions before the first soak phase, and that's when I use my Spirit Link for the first soak, and I will show you why. Obviously you still need to make sure your party members are topped off before the boss's knockback. So you can see the very first soak from the boss, you get ignition, and I like to use my Spirit Link here because people are taking the dot from the soak of the orbs. And you're moving too, right? So you want the Spirit Link to give you that buffer.
Are you leaning back? Because your voice is so weak.
There is my, you can hear my druid flaming me. Alright, and then we pull in the worms. You can, my druid here asked if I want to use Heart of the Wild. I say yes, we use it here. But you can ask, you know, you can have your party member use defensive here. Really, no, there's no other place in this fight to use defensive other than the first minute and a half of this fight, because there's no other one-shot mechanics.
Dog. Oh my god, why is it always 4?
Pretty much, this is it.
I'm on the...
Skip this. Alright. As many of you know, this hallway that we're about to enter is the #1 pug killer, even for fixed teams as well. This is a very dangerous hallway. You can see this spellbreaker puts out a mechanic called Rune glaive, and it picks one target, and that target gets a big dot on them, plus an ally gets a dot on them as well. So meld works perfectly for this, and the plan that we come up with as a team is that if it goes on our druid and our warrior, we always meld it here, because it will be back for the pole that's coming up, which also has 2 spell breakers. Here it goes on me. You always want to press the defensive for it, and it goes our paladin. So typically what you can do as a Resto Shaman, because our spot healing, you have to pre-cast some of the stuff. If you see who it's going on, you can typically start casting on that person, whatever the nameplate says.
Me next. I go next.
So this is the one mechanic that will kill you here. If you have, so you can see there's 2 healers in here. So that means you're gonna have 2 dispels plus the glaive.
I go next.
Here I somehow survive the dot. I think because I get sack here, but you can see I dwarf it.
I got you, baby. Don't worry.
Remember, there's 2 dispels here.
I thought you were gonna melt that. Oh my god. What is this?
Alright, this pull. This pull is actually quite dangerous if you don't know what to expect. When you pull this, no matter how you pull it, the first rune glaive that comes up from the Spellbreaker will always be followed up from a jump from the familiar. So you definitely need to front load some healing, some throughput to get everyone topped off right away. Ideally, you should be fishing for storm streams, which I do. Get one there. Very lucky. Right away, you see, going on our druid, and I think I asked him to melt. He doesn't melt it. It comes out, and boom, right there. See that? If people are not ready for it, it's you get one shot here. Very easily one shot. Okay, saving it. Dangerous. I even dropped my healing tide here. That's how dangerous this pull is. Okay, rally. Melt. Here I call them. Okay, so this part is good here. So we call our druid to melt here. And the reason why is because, as you can see, right, this dot's going to come out. If this dot gets out, 2 people are going to be getting chunked while these worms are dying. And that's most likely a one-shot. Plus, the familiar is also L2. Very dangerous. So the meld completely negates it. You see, familiar jumps. You meld it. But imagine the bleed is out here. It's most likely dead. Unless they have some big defensives. If you don't have anything, you probably have to use Spirit Link here, if I'm being honest. Here we go, one more. I think I call for them to go in D stance and for him to go in bear.
I'm not gonna touch this one. There. Hey, can you rehex it? You can. I can't. I can do it later.
Alright. So this is the Lust Bowl coming up. We have double Spellbreaker, so you can get quadruple glaives out. And what we do is when we have Lust up, which is right now, we don't want people to send too much. I.e., we don't want them to melt it because we want our Lust and our raw throughput to carry us through the first couple of glaives. So right away, I drop Link because you can see we have 2 here, and I'm about to get another one, so we have 4 here. But with Link and Lust, you're chilling, right? Just don't stop healing. What you need to focus on is what's coming up next. You're gonna probably get 2 more rounds of glaives, and this is where you want to have people melt if they can. If not, you press defensives. Okay. We're a little bit unfortunate here. We do get another full set of 4s.
I can touch circle. I can touch circle. You don't have to. I need help here.
Party 6.
I'll
keep this alive, please.
But that's pretty much it. Main thing, send your Link early. Have your teammates not commit too much with Link and with Lust up. And then once those are gone, that's when your teammate can come in and start using their defensives more aggressively. Alright, this boss is actually very difficult. At least for me it is. And the reason why it's difficult is because it's hard for you to see, or hard for me to see, who gets a debuff. You can see who gets the first one, but there's 2 people that get it. And basically, how I like to play this fight is I like to save a lot of big healing towards the end, right when they're about to stand in. So there, I use my healing tide, and that usually gets everyone off, get everyone topped off. This boss fight, there's like 2 phases to it. There's one phase where people have to sit with the debuff longer, and there's one phase where we don't have to. Alright, so this is the second part. So one thing that I found out is that if the person who gets the debuff pre-positions themselves inside the bubble before they get the debuff, they don't take a tick of damage from the debuff itself. Only the other person who holds it does. So what this means is that you don't have to heal the person who is pre-positioned inside the bubble, and you only have to heal the person who's outside of it. So in this situation, it's on our tank, and our paladin gets it, and he's gonna pre-position himself inside the bubble, and it makes this clear very quick, very easy.
On me and track.
Yeah, go first.
Track first.
Like that. This strategy doesn't work if you go inside it. You can never be the one pre-positioned inside. You have to be the last one to go in. Quick thing about that, the silence, you just need to make sure everyone lives it. I think for most key levels, if you just put Ancestral Vigor on everyone, they're fine.
This is dangerous for you guys. I don't have much.
Right. So here, you can see this is the set that we have to hold these for longer. I communicate to my team that I'm pretty dry on this one. I probably should be using the trinket for one of these. Let's see if I do. Yeah. Use it on the druid to make sure he can go in.
I need this to go on me. I have defensive, I need press.
Here I'm saying to my team, I need this to go on me because I have a defensive and I want to use it. Here it goes on my paladin and my tank again, which is RNG. My paladin should be pre-positioned inside.
Perfect.
Okay. Here. So if you notice a pattern, it's that you want to use your big cooldowns for the beginning of each phase. Here I will be committing my Spirit Link. Maybe I don't because it goes on my tank. If one of the blades go on your tank, you can typically just leave it alone. You don't need to send too much for it. So this is good RNG that went on him. Here you can see marks again. So this time you can stand in there. You can pre-position inside because this goes on the tank. You can see my HP is the exact same as everyone else, even though I got the dot on me. So here it goes on 1 DPS and me, and we both use defensives, which is totally fine.
I'll bear a heart. No.
So you can see here, I'm holding onto the storm stream. I'm holding onto it because I want to make sure I press it right before we walk in. Holding onto it. Press, go in, and it instantly start healing your other team member who has the glaive on it. Here you can see I'm struggling to push them up.
Send hard here. You go first. Go first. Go.
This one I even used my sunstone on myself. I think I'm a little bit reluctant to set my cooldowns because this is not the set that we need it on, and we also have a big pull coming up. Yeah, but that's the main way to play it. Save your big healing stream totem to push HPs up right before you walk in. And send your cooldowns at the beginning of each new phase. Alright, this pull, very straightforward. We play with the Void Caller. For those who don't know, the Void Caller mechanic works as a leech mechanic. So when it casts this consuming shadow, right, it will also leech for a portion of the damage it does. So you want to reduce as much damage that he does to do more damage, if that makes sense. So that's why our group uses full defensives, and you can make Healing Tide here. If you don't, then the Void Caller is going to heal for a lot more, and then he's going to live for longer, and then he's going to cast that ability more often, and it just derails from there. So very important that you commit a lot of defensives for it. Right. This pull here, I think this is where I misplay in this run. I should be using my Spirit Link here for this one. I call for defensives too, but I don't believe I use my Spirit Link, which is a misplay on my part. Go for defensive. Yeah, I should be using Spurlink here. Spurlink is a 15% DR for your entire team.
Okay.
Here, so it's very healthy. Right, so healthy that we're gonna get another one, and I end up Spurlinking this one. Would it have died if I Spurlinked the first one? Possibly. Here we died, I think, because we have these guys dying on top of it. If I'm the unstable voidlings. Yeah, when they die on top of mobs, they buff them, buff the damage they do, and the void caller just happened to be channeling his last tick of the AoE. All right, this mini boss, the Tyrant, is a tank. It's a tank mob. You as a healer, Resto Shaman specifically, your Sunstone Trinket is very good. You just want to make sure there are mobs around your healing ring, and that in itself can probably cover one tank absorb. Other than that, you can save your healing stream, you know, fish for it, and save your strong stream totems for it. Okay, this boss, it's actually quite easy as a Resto Shaman. It fits your healing profile very well. If you're playing with this comp, you never have to worry about the warrior for the sting, because they can just spell reflect it and they won't get the dot. So you just have to worry about these three here. This is also a good fight to remove your earth shield and put it on the bear. Good. Right. During each of these grasp, you want to have some cooldowns for it. So whether it'll be 2 stacks of Stormstream, or you have the ancestral Spearwalker's Grace. Sting is what you want to use defensives for, as a team. And then for the, we call it the grips, that's when you use group defensive. So Rally or Heart of the Wild. Here you can hear my druid asking me if he can use Heart of the Wild, and I say yeah, use it. Here I use my link for 1. Okay, yeah, so you can see, right, this one here, I use my healing tide. Cover us through one of these. And then the reason why I don't like using link for the grasp is because people are in very different positions, and I find it very hard to get good value out of it. So I use it for that one instead. Right. So once again, I got, I think 2 stacks or 1 stack of these. I got 2 Stormstreams here. I have my Spearwalkers coming up, and if I need, I have my pot here too. Yeah, so I tell them I'm gonna pot here. I have, you know, lots of throughput. Drop your totems, keep healing, don't stop, and that usually cover you through it. Probably overheal a little bit too, to be honest. Remember, defensives on this thing. You don't need to look at your warrior. They're fine for this mechanic. That's pretty much the fight. This pole is pretty straightforward. The only danger here is the shredders. They can leap on one player, so you want to make sure everyone walks in all at once, so nobody gets leapt on by like 3 of them at once. Okay, so Tyrant here. Once again, communicate with your tank if you have your Sunstone Trinket, because it's very good for dealing with this mechanic. That's pretty much it. I made the mistake of using Healing Tide here, because we panicked a little bit, and I think either we weren't expecting that tank buster, and then I ended up getting a heal absorb on myself too. I panic pressed my healing tide, but
Power rotation next time.
we can deal with that. Alright, so the way we play this fight is we have the druid over there by himself, and the tank and I play one on one side, and then we have the paladin and the warrior together. So it's the three of us in our healing ring. And the reason why we play like this is because the druid is actually the tankiest in this fight. And he's tankiest because he can go in bear form every time he has to soak. Alright, so what that means is that the overlap in this fight is when someone has the dot on them, which this is the dot, and they have to soak the ball. So that's why the druid is tanky. He can just go in bear form, press frenzy regen, and soak if he needs to.
Okay.
And the way I like to play this fight is I like to think of it as each phase. So you can see right now nobody has a dot on them. Well, now they do. So this is phase 1 or phase 2 technically, the second set, and this is where you commit your cooldowns. You can see here, my paladin is about to soak, and he has the mechanic, and I'm going to start focusing him on my healing. He ends up bubbling, which is fine too. Alright, so here, all the dots are gone, and this is when you start prepping yourself for the next round of healing. And by prepping, I mean trying to fish for Stormstream procs, and making sure you have a fresh cooldown on your healing on your whirling earth elements. Right? You don't want to waste this proc here. This is very important. You can see dots go out, put on the totem, and everyone has new earth living weapon.
I got. I don't have yours. I don't have yours.
That was probably a bad storm stream by me. I shouldn't have used that one there. Alright, so this one is the new one. I commit my healing tide here. Remember, this fight is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You want to really use just as much healing as needed without overcommitting. Here, I remember this part. So our tank ends up getting hit by a ball here.
I can get. But you run out.
And then he gets tank buster right after.
Oh my.
So I instantly put down the link, and we res him, and somehow we don't wipe here, which is insane.
No hard. Just ready. What's the ball? I can't get on. I can't get on.
We'll watch mine. I'm trying to position for you.
As you can see, we are prepping for the next one. Here, I think I tell him that I'm pretty weak. My warrior rallies for us, which is good. And then our druid also used Heart of the Wild, and that carries us through one phase. Normally, I would probably have Link there, but because I used it earlier when our tank died, I couldn't use it. But it's okay. We overcome and we adapt. And here, I think I call for defensives. You know, typically how I like to play this also, you know, in terms of triaging, is that if I press a defensive for a mechanic, and there are also party members who have the same mechanic, I usually don't heal myself anymore after I press my defensive. And I just heal them, assuming I don't have any more, assuming like I don't have any other cooldowns. So that's one way you can think about triaging your party members. It's pretty much the whole fight. You're really just, you know, mapping out your own cooldowns, your group's personal defensives, and your group's group cooldowns to get through this fight. You see here, probably going to use this Stormstream and my Healing Tide because it's a new set of dots that's coming out.
I don't get that. I get. Yep. Thank you.
You say here, I'm not sure what I use here because you can see I don't have much. I put my Earth Ellie out, and that's really it. Oh, we lust. Okay.
ball.
I got it. Oh, back.
Will?
I got it. I got. Oh my god.
Which one?
There, our druid runs into his own ball.
I got it.
But our paladin was quick on his feet and ended up doing his soak for him.
I'm gonna bubble in the corner. Watch my ball. Bubbling. It's coming out.
I have a heart.
Yeah,
I have a
I
heart.
have it.
Send it.
Communicate to my team out of mana, which is kind of common for this, but I'm getting very lucky with these procs.
I got this one.
We need to kill this soon. You know, when you have no mana like this, your best
Okay.
healing is to drop totems.
You got one link for us. That's it.
Attack hard.
Berserking. Holy fuck.
Yeah, there you go.
I made the same
A couple of
mistake.
unfortunate deaths. I think the 2 deaths from the Shadow Void Caller was from the late link.
So much in that.
And then the deaths on this one is just, you know, chalk it up to just whatever. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.